There's a reason some 18-year-olds apply for their first credit card and get approved immediately. Good limit, decent rate, no issues. While someone else the same age with a job and a steady income gets denied or stuck with a secured card and a $300 limit. It's not luck. It's not that one of them is more responsible. And it's definitely not that the credit system is fair. It's that one of them had a parent who knew a move that most people have never heard of. A move that's been quietly used by wealthy families for decades to give their kids a massive head start in the credit system. A move that can add years, sometimes a decade or more of positive credit history to your report in about 30 days. 1 in 4 Americans has built their credit this way, and most of them didn't even know it had a name. The name is authorized user tradelines. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how it works, why it works, who it works best for, and how to use it, whether you have a wealthy family or not. Because that last part is the piece nobody told you. You don't need a rich parent anymore. And if you're new here, my name is Nick, and this is Build the Bag. This is the place where we break down financial freedom, passive income, side hustles, and smart money habits into actual steps you can take, not just motivational quotes. We're about building something real, $1 at a time. If that sounds like your vibe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. It helps more than you know, and it ensures you don't miss the next piece of the puzzle. All right, let's pull back the curtain on this one because I want to start with why this information wasn't designed for you to have. Here's something that's going to make you a little annoyed, and I think it should. The credit system in this country rewards history, not just good behavior history. The longer your accounts have been open, the older your average credit age, the more established your file looks to a lender. This is a significant factor in how your credit score gets calculated. Which means if you were born into a family that understood credit, a family where a parent added you to their 15-year-old credit card, when you were 16, you entered adulthood with a decade and a half of positive payment. History already attached to your name. You didn't earn it, you inherited it. Before you ever applied for anything on your own, the system already saw you as low risk. Now compare that to someone who didn't have that. They turn 18, they try to get credit, and they're told they can't get approved because they don't have a credit history. And they can't build a credit history without getting approved. The classic catch, 22. Not because they're irresponsible, because nobody handed them the on-ramp. This isn't a small gap. It's a generational wealth gap dressed up as a credit score. And the financial industry has been pretty comfortable with the fact that most people don't realize this is how it works. The authorized user strategy is the on-ramp. And what changed recently is that it's no longer exclusively for people with wealthy relatives who happen to have spotless credit cards. There's now an entire ecosystem, fully legal, confirmed by the CFPB, that allows regular people to access this same advantage. That's what we're here to talk about. Let's break it down completely. Part 1, what an authorized user actually is and why the backdating is the whole point. Let's start simple. When you open a credit card, you can add other people to that account as authorized users. They get a card in their name. They can make purchases. But they're not responsible for the debt the primary cardholder is. As far as the credit card company is concerned, you're just sharing access. Here's where it gets interesting. When a credit card company reports an authorized user to the credit bureaus Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, they don't just report that the account exists. They report the full history of the account from the day it was originally opened. Read that again. The full history from the day it was originally opened. So if someone adds you to a credit card they've had for 12 years of on-time payments, low balances, clean history, that entire 12-year track record now appears on your credit report. Not from today, from 12 years ago. Your credit file, which may have been thin or young, suddenly has a seasoned account sitting in it. Your average account age goes up, your payment history improves, your score, depending on where you're starting from, can move meaningfully in about 30 days, which is roughly how long it takes for the next reporting cycle to update your file. This is not a loophole. This is how the system is designed to work. The CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the federal agency that oversees consumer credit, has studied this extensively. And as of 2026, there is no federal prohibition on authorized user trade lines. It's legal, it's documented. And according to their own research, nearly 25% of all Americans with credit files first established or significantly improved their credit this way. 1 in 4. That's not a niche strategy. That's a quarter of the country using a tool that somehow never makes it into mainstream financial education. Part 2, does it actually move the needle? Let's talk real numbers. I know what you're thinking. Okay, but does this actually work, or is this one of those things that sounds better than it is? Fair. Let's look at the data. The CFPB's research found that for people with fewer than 2 active credit accounts, what's called a thin credit file being added as an authorized user to one high-quality account increased their credit score by an average of 19 points. For people with a credit history shorter than 2 years, that average jumped to 22 points. Now, 19 or 22 points might not sound massive in isolation, but credit scoring doesn't work in a vacuum. It works in tiers. The difference between a 620 and a 640 can be the difference between getting approved and getting denied. The difference between a 680 and a 700 can change the interest rate on a car loan by a full percentage point, which on a 5-year loan is hundreds of dollars out of your pocket. And here's the number that I think is genuinely remarkable. The research found that 27% of subprime borrowers, people with scores under 620, which is the range where lenders start treating you like a risk could move into near prime territory, just by being added to a single, well-maintained, authorized user account. More than 1 in 4 people with damaged or thin credit files could cross a meaningful scoring threshold with one move, without paying off debt they don't have, without waiting years, without a secured card, and a 12-month patience exercise. One account, 30 days. Tier shift. That's what the data says. Not a credit repair company, not a blog trying to sell you something. The Federal Consumer Finance Bureau. Art 3, the 2 ways to do this, family and the tradeline market, okay? So how do you actually access this? There are 2 ways, and I want to be honest about both of them, the benefits and the limits of each. Option 1, family or a trusted person in your life. If you have a parent, a sibling, an aunt or uncle, a close friend, someone who has a credit card that's been open for several years with a clean payment history and low utilization, ask them to add you as an authorized user. They don't have to give you the physical card. They don't have to let you spend anything. They just add your name to the account. The account history shows up on your report. You benefit. They don't get hurt. Your behavior as an authorized user doesn't affect their credit unless you have the physical card and rack up charges they're responsible for. If they don't give you the card, there's no spending risk for them at all. This is the version wealthy families have been doing for decades. Junior gets added to dad's 1997 American Express card at age 16. And by the time he's 22, he has 26 years of clean credit history on his file before he's ever paid a bill. That's not an exaggeration. That is the move. If this option is available to you, use it. It costs nothing. It requires a conversation. It's the cleanest version of this strategy. Option 2. The tradeline market. Now here's the part that most finance creators won't touch, and the reason they don't is because they're either not informed enough or too scared of the gray edges. I'm going to explain it clearly because you deserve to know it exists. There are companies, legitimate operating businesses that connect people who need authorized user trade lines with cardholders who are willing to rent their account history for a fee. The cardholder adds you to their account for a set period, usually 30 to 90 days. The account history shows up on your credit report. Your score benefits. At the end of the rental period, you're removed from the account. The cardholder gets paid, you get the credit boost, the company facilitates the connection. Prices vary depending on the age and quality of the account. The older and cleaner the account, the more it costs. You might spend anywhere from $150 to $600 for a single high-quality trade line rental. Is this legal? Yes. The CFPB has evaluated this practice and has not prohibited it. The accounts are real, the history is real, the reporting to the bureaus is real. You're not faking anything, you're being added to an actual account that actually exists. But I want to be straight with you about the risks, because this is where the shady operators live. Risk 1. Not all trade line companies are legitimate. Some are fronts for fraud. Some will take your money and add you to accounts that are themselves fraudulent accounts, opened specifically to be rented, with no real history. That doesn't help your credit and could make things worse. Risk 2. Some FICO scoring models are designed to detect and discount authorized user accounts that look like rentals accounts, where you have no other relationship with the cardholder. FICO has been open about this, which means the boost you paid for might be partially or fully ignored by certain lenders using certain scoring versions. Risk 3. If you buy a trade line and then immediately apply for credit, some lenders, particularly mortgage lenders doing manual underwriting, are trained to spot this pattern and may question the accounts on your report. If you're going to explore the trade line market, go in with eyes open. Research the company thoroughly. Look for reviews that aren't on their own website. Understand that results vary. And don't use this as a shortcut right before a major loan application. Use it as one piece of a longer credit building strategy, not a magic switch. If you're still with me, and I hope you are, because we're getting into the practical part, here's a quick ask. This channel exists to give you the information that usually only reaches people who already have money or connections. If that mission matters to you, smash the like button and subscribe. Part 4. Who this works best for and the FICO version problem. Here's where I want to connect this to something we covered in the FICO video, because it matters here. Authorized user accounts are treated differently depending on which FICO scoring version a lender is using. And if you missed that video, the short version is there isn't one FICO score. There are dozens, and different lenders use different versions for different types of loans. FICO 8, the most commonly used version for credit cards and many personal loans, does give weight to authorized user accounts. This is the version where the trade line strategy shows the most consistent impact. The older mortgage scoring models, FICO 2, 4, and 5, are more conservative. They still count authorized user accounts, but they're designed to be more skeptical of accounts where the relationship between the primary cardholder and the authorized user isn't clear. If you're preparing specifically for a mortgage, the trade line strategy alone is not a substitute for building your own primary accounts. It's a supplement. So who does this work best for right now? People with thin credit files, meaning fewer than 3 open accounts, or a credit history under 2 years. This is the profile where the score movement is most significant and most consistent. People who were recently denied for a credit card or personal loan and want to reposition their file before reapplying. Adding one solid authorized user account and waiting 60 to 90 days can meaningfully shift how your file reads. Young adults, 18 to 25, who are just starting out and want to compress the timeline for building a credible credit file. Instead of waiting 3 years for your average account age to grow, you can accelerate it. People repairing credit after a rough period who've cleaned up the negative items but still have a thin file. The negatives are gone, but there's not enough positive history to push the score up. An authorized user account fills that gap. Who this works least well for? People with scores already above 720. People preparing for a mortgage in the next 6 to 12 months who need the safest possible file. And people who have major derogatory marks, collections, charge-offs, late payments still on their report. A trade line won't paper over those. You need to address them directly first. The rules. 3 rules before you do anything with this information. Rule number 1, the account you get added to has to be clean. The age is almost irrelevant if the history is messy. A 15-year-old account with a few late payments can actually hurt your score when it shows up on your report. The account you're looking for, whether through family or the trade line market, needs 3 things: low utilization, no late payments, and age. All 3. If you can't verify all 3, pass on that account. Rule number 2, this is a foundation builder, not a score hack. The authorized user strategy works best as one part of a broader credit plan. It gets your file to a place where lenders will take you seriously. But the long game is building your own primary accounts cards in your name, loans you're the primary borrower on, because those carry more weight and can't be removed from your file when a rental period ends. Use this to get in the door, then build from there. Rule number 3, don't apply for credit the minute you see the score move. I know the temptation. You check your score, it went up 30 points, and you immediately want to capitalize on it. Resist that. Give it 60 to 90 days. Let the account fully settle into your file. Let the score stabilize. And before you apply for anything significant, a car loan, a mortgage, a major credit card, pull your actual FICO scores from myfico.com so you know exactly what a lender is going to see. No surprises. Let's land this. 1 in 4 Americans has used this strategy, most of them without knowing it had a name. The ones who benefited most didn't earn it. They inherited it. They had a parent, a grandparent, someone in their corner who knew the move and made it for them. Now you know the move. If you have someone in your life with a long, clean credit card, have the conversation. Explain what you're asking. Explain that they don't need to give you the physical card. Explain that you're not asking them to take on any risk. Ask to be added as an authorized user. That conversation could be worth tens of thousands of dollars over the course of your financial life in the form of better rates, better approvals, and better terms. If you don't have that person, or if that conversation isn't possible, you now know the trade line market exists. Go in informed, vet the company, understand the risks. Use it as a foundation piece, not a magic fix. And if your credit file has negative items on it, late payments, collections, anything dragging the score down, that's the first thing to address before any of this. No amount of positive history completely neutralizes an active derogatory mark. Clean the file first, then build on top of it. Your credit score is not a judgment of your worth as a person. It's a number produced by a system with rules that are learnable. The people who get the best rates, the best approvals, and the best financial options in their lives aren't always the most responsible. Sometimes they're just the most informed. You're more informed now than you were 15 minutes ago. Use it. Drop in the comments. Did you know this was a thing before this video? And if you've ever been added as an authorized user or added someone else, tell me what happened to your score. Real results in the comments help everyone watching this. And if you want to keep building with us, hit that subscribe button right now. We drop videos every week on financial freedom, passive income, and smart money habits, the strategies that don't usually make it to regular people. Join the community. We'll see you in the next one.